Hello everybody, thanks for stopping by Greg's Beer Reviews today. It's about that time. Let's go take that walk and see what's in the fridge today. Hello everybody, thanks for stopping by Greg's Beer Reviews today. We're going to do another Evil Twin beer here. And yesterday's beer was an Imperial Stout. And it was their Biscotti Break. And this is the Evil Twins Imperial Biscotti Break. And I'm probably going to butcher this word up. Natale, Natale, pretty pleased with a cherry on top. And they're calling this an Imperial Porter or a Strong Porter. And that's what it's got on the label here. It says Imperial Porter at 11.5% alcohol by volume. Malt beverage brewed with natural flavor added. And this one, unlike yesterday's, doesn't say enjoyed by 2015. It is distributed by the 12% LLC out of Brooklyn, New York. It says the holidays brings out the best in some people. However, if the holiday is also a tough one for you, it's this beer, a tough one for you. This beer will definitely sweeten dark times of endless caroling and difficult domestic obligations. So that leads me to believe this is a Christmas beer. Did Imperial Biscotti Break also make your sugar levels rise and the bittersweet flavors of coffee, almonds, and chocolate very sentimental? This one has sour cherry on top. Florza Imperiale. So this leads me to think that they've done this for the holiday Christmas season of 2014. And here we are in February of 2015, and it's an Imperial Porter at 11.5%, just like the Stout was. So I kind of figured that they did yesterday's beer before they did this one. So just my guess, but I would think they did the Biscotti Break somewhere around June or July of 2014, and they done this one right after that to have around the November or December Christmas holiday season. And that's why they put the cherry on, the cherry flavors with the cherry on top, if you will. So, and this is a porter as opposed to the stout, which we did yesterday. And there's a fine line a lot of times between the Imperial Porters and the Imperial Stouts. It's just what the brewers want to call it. That's basically how that works. The porters are originally a lower ABV beer that the dock workers in England or Europe drank back in the 17 and 1800s, and it was a very low ABV beer, 3s or 4%, so they could have this with their lunch and go back to work. Now that the Americans have got a hold of it, and all the craft brewers are brewing bolder and bigger and hop forward and Imperial, all kind of this, that, and the other, those kind of things have gone out the freaking window, guys. So you wouldn't want to drink a 12%er at lunchtime and go back to work, as far as I'm concerned. Especially something on a 22-ounce bomber. You're going to drink all of this. You're going to have your buzz going on just a little bit for this. So if you're operating heavy machinery or driving a forklift or a dock worker and you've got a pretty important job, I don't know if you want to be drinking almost a 12% beer at lunchtime and going back to work. Just my opinion. A lot of you bigger guys saying, well, F you and all this, we can handle it, we're this, that, and the other, but to each its own is what I say. But an Imperial Porter at 11.5% is a big beer. It's a big beer. It's not what these beers were designed to be originally. They were not. They were a low ABV beer, a little lower than the stouts. The stouts were usually a little bit bigger beer, and the porters were a little bit lower ABV beers. But all those rules have gone out the window here lately with the American brewers getting their hands on this style. So, and if the brewer wants to call this type of beer a porter, he can call it a porter. If he wants to call it a stout, he can call it a stout. So, it all depends on what they want to call it. So, with that being said, let's get on with this one. This is an 11.5%er. I don't have the IBUs listed for this. Commercial description on this beer says Imperial Biscotti break with our sour cherries added. So this should have a little bit of cherry notes in there with it, and sour cherries. I don't know how sour it's going to be, whether it's to the lambic or sour beer style. I kind of doubt it, but there should be some cherry notes in this beer. I don't know how they've added the cherries, whether it was whole cherries or how they've added the cherries to this beer. The food pairings for this beer, I'd say, is probably going to be pretty close to what we had on the stout. Yep, cheese is a buttery brie Gouda Havarti Swiss, and it goes by the chocolate dishes. Meat is beef, smoked meat, game, and grilled meat. Glassware, pint, becker, Nonica tumbler, snifter, oversized wine glass. I got the double glass today, just like yesterday. I kind of want to, these two beers are done by Jeppy at Equal Twin Brewing, which is McKellar's brother, and he does all those. He's kind of considered a vagabond brewer, doing his beers at different breweries here in the United States, where McKellar does his at different breweries over in Europe. This beer can be sold for long periods, being at 11.5%. It doesn't have the date on this one, which is kind of what I expected and was blown away yesterday by them having enjoyed by 2015. I don't understand that on 11.5% stout, but this is an Imperial Porter, and those lines are kind of vague and faded when you get to an 11.5% porter and 11.5% stout. It all depends on what the brewer wants to call it. So he's calling this a porter, so we'll see what the difference comes on this one. And it says this beer can be sold for long periods under the proper conditions. I agree 100%. This beer should keep 5, 10, 15, even 20 years if cellared correctly. So, don't think there's anything else we need to talk about. So, without further ado, let's get the cap off of this puppy and see. Nice hiss. A little bit of smoke going on here. Very cheap cap, and the old gold cap on this one. I'm going to lay this down here. Into the center of the glass. It looks very much like the stout we poured yesterday. I don't see any differences coming out of the bottle. I'm going to save enough for her. Guys, she drinks everything that I drink. She probably has, for somebody that's not on camera, she's probably tasted as many different beers as I have. Because she gets to taste every single one that I review. Even though she's not doing beer reviews, I consider her opinion very valuable. And one of these days we'll get her on camera. Other than you see her walking back and forth on the side there. But we'll see. She's kind of camera shy and she don't want to get on camera. But a lot of you guys have been asking for it, so hopefully it'll happen for too long. And we'll have her. I'll get another chair and we'll set her over on the side, and y'all get to see what she has to think about the beers. But we'll see. We'll see. All right, with that pour, almost a finger head, and it's dissipating pretty quick, down to about a finger head by now. And over to the light, there is none. There is none. I would call this a stout. I really, really would. A lot of the original porters have a little bit of red ruby tinges around the glasses. Not quite so dark and opaque as the stouts are. It's they kind of bleed through from the Imperial Porters and the Imperial Stouts. Back then, there was no such thing as an Imperial Porter. It was either a Porter, which was a low ABV beer, dark beer, and then it was the Stouts, which is a little higher ABV beer, which was a little more darker. But now those lines have been erased. There is no such thing between one or the other when you get to this ABV of a beer. Just my opinion. It's just what I've come across in my experience with it. If I was to pour this in a glass, you didn't see what I poured, or blindfolded you, and you sniffed it, smelled it, tasted it, I don't think you can taste the difference. I really, really don't. So, very good looking beer in the glass, very dark, no light coming through, very black, like used motor oil. Let's get a nose on this one. Now, to me, on the nose, on this particular one, it's very, very similar to the regular Biscotti Break. There may be a slight hint of some light cherries in the nose, but it is very close to the original Biscotti Break. Roasted malt, a little bit of chocolate and cocoa. The chocolate is not really super present in the nose as much as it is in the taste. And it might have just a little sweeter smell to it from the cherries added. But they say if it's sour cherries, you shouldn't have a lot of sweetness added. Let's give it a taste and see what we got. It's hard to tell on the nose because the roasted malt is taking the front billing here. Smells kind of sweet though. Cheers. Now in the taste, the roasted malt is there, and there is a presence of the sour cherries. It is not quite as sweet in the taste as the regular Biscotti Break. The roasted malt is the same. A hint of coffee, and the cocoa is there, but the sweetness from the chocolate is a little bit less because the sourness of the cherries has been added. Not quite as sweet. The sour cherries take away from the sweetness. Still very tasty though. If you find the Biscotti Break a little too sweet, you may like this one just a tad better because it's not quite as sweet as a Biscotti Break, with the sour cherries lending a little tartness to the beer. But the cherries are not overwhelming. They've not overpowered the beer with the cherries. It's just taken away from the sweetness and added a little cherry tartness to the beer. Very nice. Very, very nice. Like I said, if you don't like the Biscotti Break, this may be a little more in your line because not quite as sweet and a little more tartness with the cherries added. So, well, let's try the fridge 40 degrees. Nice lacing left on the glass here. So let me sip on this one and finish up my punch bare knuckle cigar that I was smoking with the other one. We'll do the final chug on this one, and I'll pour her the rest of this and see what she thinks of it, and we'll come back and do the final chug. Alright guys, I'll be right back. Alright guys, I'm back. Got just a little left here. As you notice, the bottom is broken out of the bottle. I tried to take some Facebook pictures and the bottle is basically broken. Had to get the vacuum cleaner out twice to sweep up the glass when the bottle broke. Taking some pictures of this, smoking the cigar. Shit happens, you know what I'm saying? It's the way it goes. It's the way it goes. Biscotti Break, this is their Natale, or Natale, N-A-T-A-L-E. Pretty pleased with the cherry on top. A little less sweet than the regular Biscotti Break is, with the sour cherries added to this. Very tasty, but I don't think it's quite to the 10 scale in my opinion. It's good beer, very tasty beer. I enjoyed this. I think I like the regular Biscotti Break better than this one. The sour cherries take away the sweetness that the original one had. But if you're not into the sweet Imperial Porter, such as this one is, and like I said, there's a fine line between the Imperial Porters and the Imperial Stouts. Depends on what they want to call it. And they're calling this an Imperial Porter at 11.5%. I think I like the other one just a tad better than this one. With the sour cherries added to it. To me, beer taste is subjective, guys. I mean, if you like something not quite as sweet, you may think this is better than the original version of the Biscotti Break. But I think I like the Biscotti Break a little bit better than this one. But it's pretty close. It's a well-made beer. The alcohol is well hidden for 11.5%. It is very tasty. So let's see the final chug on this. Smells very similar. Not quite got the same nose. Just not. It smells almost as sweet as the regular version of this, but the taste is what makes the difference on this. If you like your Imperial Stouts or Imperial Porters a little less sweet, this would probably be a great beer for you, or a 10 beer for you. But to me, I like the other one just a hair better than this. I like the nice sweetness to go with that, instead of the sour that the cherry brings to this beer. So this is a 9 for me. I like the regular version of this better than the cherry version of this. So a 9 out of 10 for me, guys. If I was putting a numeric rating on this, it would probably be a 98, maybe even a 99, but not quite to the 100 scale, in my opinion. So let's see what everybody else thinks. We'll go over to Beer Advocate, and Beer Advocate says 92 in their outstanding range. It is an outstanding beer. It's very, very tasty, very pleasant, very pricey. I think this beer was between $13 and $18 a bottle. I don't remember exactly what I paid for this, but it was a pricey beer for a 22-ounce bomber of this. And I understand that. I mean, it takes a lot to brew a beer of this magnitude and to be this tasty. But I think I like the regular version just a tad better than the one here with the cherry on top. The sour cherries take away from the beer a little bit more, to me, in my opinion, than the regular version of this. I think I like the regular version just a tad better. So, over to Rate Beer. Rate Beer says 98 overall and 89 in the style. 98, 99, pretty close in the numbers. Like I said, if I was putting a numeric rate on this, I'd probably be in somewhere in between 97 or 98 in this beer. I think I like the original version just a tad better than this one. So, if you've had this one, let me know what you think of the Evil Twin Imperial Biscotti Break. Natale, or Natale, N-A-T-A-L-E. Pretty pleased with the cherry on top. Let me know what you think of it, guys. It's a tasty beer. Very tasty. I wish I put a date on the bottles. That's at least a year on this style of beer. And let me know when it was put in the bottle. 2013, 2014, 2015. Let me know it was bottled on this date, so I'll know exactly how old the beer is. So, with that being said, we're going to get out of here with this broken bottle that I've dropped and run the vacuum cleaner twice to clean up the glass. Shit happens, you know what I'm saying? Alright guys, we're out of here. Let me know if you had this one from them. And let's go see what's in the fridge tomorrow. See you then.